Oh, hi there. You're watching and or listening to North of Weatherfield, a Canadian Coronation Street podcast.
And this week we are talking about episodes that aired in Canada from May 6th to May 10th. So if you haven't yet seen those episodes, avert your ears.
Pull the lever, Kronk. Oh, we should have a thing where we, like, instead of pull the lever, Kronk, it should be something related to Coronation Street. Like, yeah, slice the Eccles cake, Roy.
So that pair of knickers, Beth.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll work on that. We'll workshop it. We'll take it around the country, see how it goes. Go for it, Shan. Oh, we're doing the intros. Wait. Hi there, I guess. So yeah, I'm Brittlestar.
I'm Shannon.
These aren't our real names, of course. Our real names this week are...
I brought props for mine.
You brought props? I'll have to describe them for those listening. Shannon's got a large purse.
Yeah, I'm Alya, and I just there's always a reason why I just have something. Just, you know.
Do you have that freed marker file?
Yes, it's probably right here. It might be in here, but I can't put it down.
She's now got an accordion file in front of her and is doing an impressive Alya impersonation.
I wasn't actually too focused on the nuances of how Alya talks because I was too taken with my props. But
the props are really good.
But we do think that Alya is most likely in real life expecting. So
okay, I'm going to be well, I'm just a chipper chappy and I'm going to mess with the law.
So I know we don't do accents. However, you have gone
just
with
a chipper chappy and I'm going to mess with the law.
Now he's better? A Beatle? All right. Okay, Bobby.
He's the fifth Beatle. Bobby is the fifth Beatle.
I think we're up to the sixth Beatle now, aren't
Probably,
we?
exactly. Yeah. There's quite a lot of them.
All right. This week we are going to be talking about Sarah, Gary, and Maria. Mm-hmm. Sean and Dylan.
Yeah.
Alya, Adam, and Dee Dee. Mm-hmm. Roy. Mm-hmm. Bobby and Carla. Mm-hmm. Stu, Yasmin, and Eliza. And Leanne, Simon, and Rowan.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So first, Sarah, Maria, Gary. So Sarah and Gary meet up on the street. Sarah is walking back from buying a bottle of wine in preparation for getting the bad news that's coming about Damon's sentencing.
Yeah.
And it was funny. We saw them walk up to each other and they sort of said hello. And I was like, did Gary go out with Sarah? And we were like, yeah, I think they must have because they're the same age. Yes.
It's a shallow pool.
And sure enough, they had.
Yeah.
So she mentions she's not looking forward to this. Gary mentions Liam's thoughts of suicide that have been preoccupying him and Maria.
Right, yeah.
So very nice. They're like, yeah, things are pretty rough for both of us right now. Mm-hmm. And why don't we go grab a drink? And Sarah's like, I've already got a drink. Let's go open this bottle of wine.
Good old Sarah.
So they go back to Gary and Maria's flat. Mm-hmm. So they're having nice conversations, a little bit flirty.
I mean,
a little bit reminiscent in a
little tender.
A little tender and a little, boy, it wasn't that bad when we went out.
Remember the good times, baby?
Yeah. So meantime, Maria has been watching and listening to this. Well, not watching and listening. She's seen it and heard it on her phone. She's not too happy.
Because she's got the camera system set up hidden in the plant.
Yes. And Gary,
because she wants to make sure that Liam's okay.
Yeah.
She's panicked about that.
Yeah. And Gary is unaware of this.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's occasionally checking in on this. Sarah gets the phone call. Damon's going down for 6 years. She's upset.
Yeah.
Gary comes over to console her. Nice big hug. They go back and sit on the couch. And Sarah leans in for a big old snog. And Gary, wisely, declines.
Because Gary's a stand-up dude.
Yes. Well, apart from all the murdering.
Apart from the killing, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah's mortified. She leaves. Mm-hmm. Gary then runs into Maria, his wife, on the street, and she asked him what he'd been up to, and he eventually has to admit that he'd had Sarah at the flat, even though he wasn't necessarily trying to hide it, but it became obvious that she knew somehow that Sarah had been in the flat.
Yeah.
And so Maria confessed to the camera.
Yeah.
Gary is now horrified because
he's like, oh no, what if she sees the attempted snog? What if maybe I don't remember it correctly? Maybe I didn't pull away fast enough? All that kind of stuff.
what if my lips accidentally locked with hers?
Oh no. Exactly.
So then Gary later on runs into Sarah again on the street and tells her about the camera. Sarah is horrified because Sarah and Maria get along.
Sure they do.
And then also Sarah tells him, oh, Carla's probably going to be buying the factory from you. And he was unaware of this, that Carla's financial situation had changed. So Carla, desperate to keep the factory going, but forgot to notify Gary that she now had the money to buy the factory.
We've talked about this a lot. Am I allowed to comment yet?
Okay. I'll finish this very briefly.
Good. All right. I'll hold it.
And then later on, Maria, Gary, and Sarah are all in the pub. Maria steps away for a minute, has left her phone behind.
Yeah.
Sarah encourages Gary, who apparently is a tech genius, to pick up her phone and find the program that he didn't know existed until 2 hours ago, doesn't know what it's called,
exactly,
and delete the exact correct video.
Yeah.
So, boy, kudos to him. I mean, Maria was a tech genius installing the camera.
Okay, so can I talk now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So here's the problem I have. We said there's a couple things. First of all, let's just deal directly with the fact that Gary finding the app for the camera.
Yeah.
Having been someone who purchases strange apps from various places, that makes it sound seedy.
Nefarious.
It's not seedy.
Nefarious, seedy.
But cheap apps, let's just say that, to do various things like to run camera sliders and bits of equipment and all that kind of stuff. Which you haven't even noticed the camera slider I've set up in our family room, have you? It just slides right behind all the plants. But they're never like, they're not like Secret Cam or something.
Yeah.
They're always like Akukabu or something, or Sukunaka or something like that. And it's like, it's just some name that doesn't necessarily translate or make sense to you as a person. So the fact that Gary's able to find it, which means maybe she's only got three apps on her phone. Maybe she's got the phone, maybe she's got text, maybe 4. Candy Crush and the secret camera.
She definitely has Instagram.
Yeah, there's 5 apps that he had to scroll through. That's only one page of a phone. So okay, I'll take that back. Then it wouldn't be that hard. But then secondly, I was going to say about how we talked about recently how it used to be that leaving your cell phone was a major plot device.
Yeah.
That was everything hinged on someone leaving their cell phone or losing their cell phone.
Yeah.
And now it's just stupidness.
Yes.
And I want that to change.
We had 2 incidents this week of a plot device being someone leaving their cell phone behind.
Did we?
We did. We haven't covered the other one yet.
Okay, all right.
But anyways, Maria feels badly that she has recorded this personal moment of Sarah's being upset.
Yeah.
Even though she hasn't seen it. So on the way back to the flat, she says, I think I'm going to go in and delete it. Gary panics because he's already deleted it. She's going to find out
that it's already gone.
But he manages to convince her to just let him take care of it for her.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't find out about it. So here's my question. Are Sarah and Gary going to become an item again?
No. I don't think so. I think that Gary's going to become her confidant, which is going to cause problems with Maria, but they're not going to become romantically entwined.
See, this was already my problem when Gary told Sarah about that he'd found out about the camera.
Yeah.
Again, he's sharing secrets with Sarah. This isn't good.
No, it's not good. It's not good.
You're allowed to obviously have friends talk to friends, but having secrets.
Well, this is interesting.
It's a danger.
Here's a related thing. It's a separate show. Maybe we'll do a show about this show as well, about Girls 5 Eva. Okay, the episode we watched last night. So just bear with me, everyone who's listening. If you don't watch the show Girls 5 Eva, watch it. It's hilarious.
It's very funny.
Yes, Owen told us to watch
very
it.
Smart.
He was right. Yeah, see? And the episode last night was the episode where Sarah Bareilles' character, the main character as such of the show, she ends up watching a version of the show Succession with her producer that she normally watches with her husband.
Right. Yes.
And that is kind of an infidelity.
Kind of that emotional cheating, even though there's zero romance in the emotional.
I think that's interesting.
It's not an emotional affair.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah. Like I'd be upset if you watch Coronation Street with another man.
But you do try to convince me to just watch the episodes on my own so you don't have to sometimes.
Yeah, on your own, solitary, exactly. Put in the work and then give me some quick one-page summaries. It's like listening to this podcast. Maybe I'll just show up and listen to it.
All right, Sean and Dylan.
Ready.
This is very brief, but I'd missed the fact that Sean had apparently found a flat.
Yeah, I think that was just sort of like it happened. And
Yes.
That's it. Now, it could have happened in the Canadian cut compared to the British cut. Because apparently they cut like a chunk of scenes out. But if you watch on CBC Gem, maybe it made more sense.
I think you're giving them too much credit. I think they just couldn't be bothered dealing with it.
I think it's down to Brexit.
So Sean and Dylan are moving out, and Kirk's helping them move. 2 packed vanfuls of stuff.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Is there anything left in Eileen's?
Like, they don't even have basements there.
No.
They've got a loft.
Exactly.
That's about it. Yes. Anyways, and as they're packing this up, it turns out it's both Liam and Dylan's first day back at school.
Yeah.
And Maria is very concerned, understandably,
Sure.
about letting Liam go back. And Dylan reassures both Liam and Maria that he has Liam's back,
Yes.
which was
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's
And
also,
I think he's being sincere when he says it.
I think he's being sincere. And it's also, teenage boys are not known for being affectionate. That wasn't affectionate, but you know what I mean?
Sometimes to
Yeah.
be affectionate when you're a teenage boy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So Gary then later on hears that the flat that Sean and Dylan have was not actually furnished as promised, and it doesn't really have anything in it.
Yeah.
So he summons Sean to the workshop, and Sean is terrified because Gary just always shouts at him about all
Yeah.
the Liam stuff. So he brings Eileen and Mary with him.
Right.
But it turns out that Gary's just offering him a free piece of furniture.
And then
Then he picked the most impractical piece
a
of furniture.
bureau?
A writing desk, not like a chest of drawers.
No, but just a writing desk.
Yeah.
And it's like you should have started with a sofa or something.
Yep. Even an antique sofa would have been
Yeah.
better. But I think that's Addie's old flat.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. They built that set and they're not going to let it go to waste.
No, exactly. I want to know what happened to Addie's furniture, though, because did he not move back in with Dev?
It all went into the TARDIS rooms that they have in these little row houses.
So are things now settled between Sean and Gary, for want of a better term, for those 2 families?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you're going to find out there's going to be a stronger bond between potentially a stronger bond between Sean and Gary if Mason pops his head back up or if trouble comes via the Mason thing, which I don't even know if it will, to be honest. That might be done and dusted now.
Yeah, for another 2 years.
Yeah,
Until
exactly.
he gets out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So Alya, Adam, and Dee Dee.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee was at court for Damon's trial.
Can we talk about Adam's hair at the end of this?
Oh, I know it was. After having great hair recently, it's not good again.
I don't know what happened to it.
I don't know.
It's like he forgot conditioner.
I don't know. We can't. There's nothing we
Still
can
a
do.
good looking man, but Shannon just made a face that was
Well,
uncomfortable.
it was only the one scene last week. So Dee Dee's at court for Damon's trial. Alya has been prepping for a big client meeting that Adam's going to be having. She's been doing all the prep work for it. Adam says to her, "Oh, I've got a new client who wants to meet me at 3:00 or whatever.
Right.
So just cancel that client meeting for me." And she's like, "No, this is a really important client. This is a really big meeting.
Yeah.
You have to make it." And he's like, no,
Not going to do
just cancel it. Just log into my email and cancel the meeting and then go home. And so she's unimpressed, but she does this. Adam goes and meets the new client at the bistro, not the office that's right across the street.
it. Shannon, the office was flooded. That second floor office was somehow flooded.
And then came back just as untidy as ever.
And it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think they were had.
So he has this meeting with this, I was going to say young woman similar in age to him.
Sure.
And it goes well. It's getting a little flirty. They decide to order some wine. And then they decide that they should leave the bistro. And he's like, "Why don't you come on back to my office?
Yeah, check out my
so we can
dockets.
have a good snog."
Yeah.
And Meantime, Alya, who had been packing up to leave for the day, the client shows up because the client didn't get the last minute email canceling this. So Alya actually goes ahead, does the meeting. She's the one who's prepared all the stuff, all of the mystery charts and everything that are probably in
Shannon's bending down for her accordion file.
this file folder right here.
How would Alya hold them? She'd hold them like that? What does she hold? It's just her purse she holds with her cross arms?
Well, it depends. She's often standing behind a counter nowadays as well. They don't allow her out on the floor at speed dial. She has to be behind the counter.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
She's done all the work. Client's super impressed and assumes that she's on track to be partner. And just as she's about to say, actually, no, I'm the PA, Adam and Snoggy Face come bursting through the door. And the client is understandably unimpressed that this is why Adam has blown off the meeting.
Sure.
So he leaves,
Yeah.
leaves his phone behind.
Oh.
That Alya then follows him out
Yeah.
to give him the phone, which leads to the great opportunity. This was a positive coming from leaving a phone behind.
Yeah.
That she says, I was going to tell you I'm just a PA.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, come and work for me instead. We need PAs like you, and we'll give you education as part of your thing. You can go once a week
You
or
can
whatever.
become a lawyer.
Become a lawyer. And Alya decides, good idea.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. So she quits. And well, she actually, I think she goes home and then quits.
Right.
Adam doesn't quite believe it. And then when Dee Dee finds out, she gives him hell. And Alya has her first day, goes very well. The partner, big partner, was very pleased with her.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. So we think this guy's name is, I didn't write it down. I'd had it before. Rich, we think is the name of the guy.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So I don't know how high up he is in Fabian's. I don't know if he's a partner.
Just based on his name?
Rich, the rich guy?
Rich? No. Listen, this is as high as it goes for you, Rich. Partner? No.
You're going to have to switch to Richard.
Rich the partner? No.
And so Alya is very pleased. She feels like she's being respected and valued.
Yeah.
And Adam's not been great to her recently. She goes home. Adam shows up at her door, starts yelling at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't need to listen to this. I don't need to do anything you're telling me because I don't work for you anymore. And then he tries to be conciliatory, but it's obvious that it's not heartfelt.
No.
He just knows that Dee Dee's going to kill him.
She has something he needs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as soon as she says she'll think it over, and as soon as he leaves, she calls Rich up and says, hey, here's a whole bunch of clients we can poach.
Yeah.
Because it's not in my contract saying I can't. So is Adam having just a bad week, or is he spiraling a bit?
I don't know. I mean, he could be spiraling a little bit, but he could also, like, that could have also been the turning point there for him as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to go deeper than that.
You think that might make him catch himself?
And I go like, what am I doing? Type of thing. I don't know though. Cause he's had so many comeuppances.
Yes.
And he just, and so many hairstyles.
Yes.
But he's just keeps on going.
Is he going to get back together with Sarah? Sarah never stays single for long.
I can see them getting back together.
I thought they were nice together.
I can see them getting back together. But he's just, Adam's he's just got to cool that hot Scottish blood. But I thought what was interesting with Alya stealing the clients, though, to me, was that she was screwing over Dee Dee as well.
Yes, but I think Dee Dee thinks fair enough, probably.
Yeah, it's all fine and well that they think fair enough, but Dee Dee's got money because she needs money. She's got bills to pay.
Agreed.
She's got to take care of her gambling addict father.
Yeah.
And her indecisive, flustered brother.
Wait. Now,
Dee Dee. That was my Michael.
Did he make Dee Dee partner, actually?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah. So we haven't.
So that is her money. Also, did you notice that Dee Dee has called herself Dana and Dana?
She's transitioning because she's looked at Rich and she's like, Rich is never going to be partner.
Well, I know, but it's not Dee Dee.
Dee Dee can't be partner.
But is it Dana or Dana? What's your name, Dee Dee? She's called herself both.
Oh, she did call herself both.
Yeah. I assumed Dana, but then I heard Dana. Anyways. Roy.
Listen, she can call herself whatever she wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's who you're sweet on now. It's more appropriate
I
than
like
Bethany,
Dee Dee.
so I'll go for
Dee
it.
Dee's nice. She's okay. I think she leans a little heavily on her experience in LA, but apart from that, she's all right.
Also, where does she get that wardrobe from? They don't have a lot of
LA.
money.
She brought it all from LA.
But she is wearing a new high-end outfit every time you see her. She's never in sweats.
I know. And one of the things I appreciate about Coronation Street is that the characters, and I've read this before as well, is that they get to choose, like, the people who are playing the characters get like, I wear this.
Yes.
And they choose outfits. And then you see those outfits return.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, because that's how real life works.
Yep.
I'm wearing the same shirt I probably wore in 8 episodes
Yep.
of this.
Yeah.
Because Shannon won't let me buy anymore.
All right.
But yeah, I think that she's got so many new clothes, and I don't know where she's keeping them either.
Although well, maybe it's just because it's been renovated that house seems a bit more spacious.
It's just because it's been renovated.
Yeah.
That's
it. Okay, so Roy. So everything about the Roy storyline was frustrating me this week.
Okay.
So the woman in the flat. So this week started with the middle of the night, her in the flat because Roy had, anyways.
She had identified herself as Lauren's mom and said that she'd been badgered by the press.
No one tried to do anything to verify this.
No one opened up Google, or what do they call it in Vogel? They call it Vogel
right.
or something in Coronation Street, which is funny because they talk about Facebook.
But they didn't for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no one's got Vogel open on the street. Everyone's forgot to pay their Vogel bill.
Yes. And so she's filming the flat in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And then hears a noise and it's Roy coming out. So she jumps back on the couch, but Roy is sleepwalking.
Yeah.
And she films him sleepwalking.
Yeah.
And plays it all up in her footage. Oh, I thought I might get murdered. And she'd filmed Haley's picture and suggested that Roy had killed Haley.
Yeah.
And so anyways, the next morning, they wake up. Roy has no recollection of any of this because he'd been sleepwalking. And she heads down to have breakfast in the calf, which is a bit of a brass neck, as they say.
Brass neck move.
I'm going to go take free breakfast from your business.
I'm moments from being found out. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go downstairs and rub their noses in it by having a full English breakfast.
Yeah. So she's gone down and Roy hears his mobile ringing because after being obsessed with his phone, Roy now doesn't keep his phone on.
Yeah, keeps it separate.
Has put it away in the cupboard. He hears it and he answers it, and it's Lauren's actual mom who says to him, I don't want anything to do with you.
Don't call me anymore, blah, blah, blah.
So why on earth, if he had left his cell phone number when he called Lauren's mom, do they have to keep answering the phone in the calf? Because they were supposed to be waiting for Lauren's mom to call on the phone in the calf.
I think that was only part of it. They're waiting for Lauren's mom to call, but they're also waiting to sort of see if there's any updates, plus also regular business stuff.
Yeah.
You still have tea? We do. Thanks.
And so Roy comes down and he says to Shona and Nina that she's not Lauren's mom.
Yeah.
And then the woman admits to being a blogger, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And that she did lie. And so nobody checks her phone before they just tell her to leave. They don't check her phone. They don't call the police.
I know.
They don't.
Okay, I get the idea that there's like with some thugs, like the Damon and Harveys, right? And you're like, listen, I don't want any more trouble. I just want you to go away.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Absolutely.
With this woman,
yeah.
No, just keep her there.
Yeah.
Just call the cops immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because he's already in trouble.
Yeah.
And if he calls the cops that she said she was their mother, then she's just harassing and she's obstructing. No, maybe not obstructing justice, but getting in the way of a criminal case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was horrendous.
Yes.
I felt back. I thought surely at least Shona, maybe Nina would hold her and Shona would just like thump her.
The two, Shona would definitely be the thumper.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I just wanted one of them to get Gary in. He'll know how to find the vlogging software.
Yeah.
And delete all of that.
Yes,
just
exactly.
Instinctively.
He'd look up the app that was Akuraba or something.
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And then later on, Roy and Evelyn are leaving the calf, and that woman comes back with her phone all up in Roy's face.
Yeah.
And
she's obviously bonkers. Like she's blinded by this quest for notoriety and
clout. To be fair, Roy seems like he could be guilty from the outside, So she thinks
Maybe.
she's helping justice.
Nah.
But
she just did
also,
it for herself.
again, Roy and Evelyn don't go back inside.
No.
They engage with her.
Or why wouldn't they just say, I'm calling the police right now?
Yeah.
Like he's already
So-
in trouble.
She ends up talking about Haley. Roy gets upset,
Fair enough.
grabs the phone from her.
Yeah.
She falls.
Lunges for her phone.
Yeah.
Trips on the curb.
Yeah.
Goes down.
Yeah. And hits her head, cuts her head.
Yeah.
And so now she has footage of what looks like Roy attacking her. And
Subsequent, she's covered in blood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes to the police. Police come. Evelyn tries to say it was her. Roy says no, it wasn't. And they arrest Roy for murder
Yeah.
because now he has breached his bail conditions.
Yeah.
So he's down at the station, D.S. Swain interviewing him. Dee Dee is his lawyer. She's there. And he's going to, they ask him about, D.S. Swain says, I've looked into Haley's file.
Yeah.
Nothing to suggest
Yeah.
murder. But then they bring up Roy attacking Gary with a cricket bat,
Which I didn't even remember.
which rang a vague
I don't even
bell.
know why.
No, it rang a vague bell, but I don't remember either.
Yeah.
So anyone who remembers this, because again,
Yeah.
we're afraid of Googling because we're going to find stuff out.
Exactly.
Anyone who remembers, please share that with us
in the comments.
in the comments. So what was I saying? I'm sorry.
Cricket bat.
Oh, cricket bat. Yes. So the next day they're in court and the opposing counsel brings up the Haley thing, dead names Haley, just
Yeah.
to try to make Roy seem a little bit more
Just to trigger him a little bit.
and to make him seem like
yeah.
not straight-laced or whatever. Also bring up the fact that Roy and Haley had kidnapped Wayne, which I vaguely remember. It was like a kid they were fostering who I think had like a dangerous parent that was trying to
and
get him
they're trying
back.
to protect him.
Yeah.
But they like snuck him away somewhere.
Yes, I can only kind of remember it, but I do feel it was all well-intentioned.
Yeah. Road to hell. Paved
Road
with
to
good
hell.
intentions.
Yeah. So, and despite Dee Dee pleading for showing his vulnerability with his age and how he's being targeted, being accused of being a pedophile, all these things, he gets remanded. So he is in jail. And I don't really have many questions about the Roy thing because it was frustrating. Everything was badly handled.
Everything
by
was
everybody.
frustrating, by everything was handled poorly by all characters. You're right, except I did like how Roy, he's bewildered in the world. Like he knows right and wrong.
Yeah.
But that he doesn't understand nuance in right and wrong.
And he did actually write a note that got sent to, I think he gave through Dee Dee to Nina and friends.
Yeah.
And he basically said, I said what Stu had said. I just assumed that because I didn't do it, they would discover I didn't do it.
They would discover that, but
And-
instead they're trying to peg it on him.
Well, or they believe it's him.
Yeah.
Like they are pegging it on him
Yeah.
because they believe it's him.
Yeah.
So speaking of more bad decisions, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
So Bobby,
I'm just a chipper chappy. Hey, John, do you want to make some songs?
you were in Manchester. Come on, you must know the nuance.
But he doesn't really have a Manchester accent. He does have a little bit of a Liverpudlian
No,
accent.
he doesn't.
To my attuned ear, he does.
So Bobby no longer believes Roy did it. Still isn't a big supporter of Roy. But what he's frustrated with is that no one is looking for the actual killer anymore.
Fair.
Because the police
Fair.
are sure they have Roy.
Sure.
So he goes to Swain and changes his statement.
Yeah.
He says that actually when he was at Lauren's flat and with the bacon sandwich and everything, a man came out of the bedroom with a balaclava on
Yeah.
and threatened him
Yeah.
to not tell anybody anything or he'd kill him.
There was a brief moment when he said those lines, and I was like, oh, man, did I miss that part? Like, I honestly thought, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was I looking down at my phone?
Yeah. Or did they cut away from that part or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Swain is suspicious,
Sure.
but asks him a few more questions. And she's like, I need, give me a description. And he's like, oh, it was all a blur. Balaclava, tall guy. And he goes home. He tells Carla. So he tells Swain that he told Carla about it right after,
Yeah.
but didn't tell the police. So he's now implicated Carla in
Yeah.
his story. he goes home, tells her this. She's very angry. But then he's like, this is the only way to get Roy out. And she's like, Bobby gets pulled in again for more questioning. And this time he decides he needs a description. So he says the guy was wearing a dark parka with a fur hood. As, to be fair, I feel as they said,
pretty generic.
Are we going to arrest the Gallagher brothers?
Liam Gallagher.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. But Cassie overhears this, and Cassie's like, oh, I remember right around that time, a lovely brand new coat with that description came into the charity shop.
Yeah.
And I was thinking who would donate a coat that's in this great shape.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
And it came in with a bunch of kids' clothes. And so she went to go back and look, and the coat was gone, but she remembered some of the kids' clothes, and they had a name inside. And it turns out it was Daniel's coat. So they let the police know about this.
Yeah.
And Swain wants to talk to Daniel. Again.
Yeah.
And of course, all the things that made Daniel a suspect in the first place fit the description. He's had inappropriate relationships with younger blonde women.
Yeah.
He was tutoring her for free. He paid for her GCSE exam.
Yeah.
None of this is looking good for him. And he's also a bit flippant when he's dealing with Swain, which is probably not helping things.
Did they address why he gave the coat in?
I think it was just he was done with it.
Because it was a pretty new coat.
Yeah. Maybe he was tired of looking like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So Carla then gets called in for questioning, and now she backs up Bobby's story.
Right.
She's all in.
Yeah.
So, and then she and Bobby are talking afterwards, and they're like, oh, they've arrested, or not arrested. They're looking at Daniel again.
Daniel.
And they decide, Bobby and Carla, that if Daniel goes down for this, even though he's innocent, it's better than Roy going down for it because
they
he's
think
innocent.
he's okay to sacrifice.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yep. I agree.
That's awful.
Carla's kind of somewhat
makes
family.
me think that Daisy and Jenny shouldn't have said anything about the money.
Yeah.
They should have just been, you know what? She would have done the same thing probably.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. All right. Briefly, Stu, Yasmin, and Eliza.
Yeah.
So Eliza comes back from Germany.
Yeah.
But it's going to be brief. She's decided she is indeed going to move there with her dad, Dom. So kudos to the stepmother, because Dom's a terrible father.
Uh-huh.
So the stepmother is probably the one who's actually keeping the family together.
Yeah, I think so.
And so Stu decides to get a tattoo of Eliza's name on his arm. A large, like
Quite
a whole bottom
sizable
half.
forearm
Whatever you
tattoo.
call your shin of your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forearm. There you go.
Yeah, forearm, but it's not the front of the forearm, the inside of the forearm.
But they have put the Z backwards in Eliza.
Which means he must have written it down like that.
No, I feel it was for text if it's
Do
just
you think
name.
a tattoo artist would get a Z backwards?
I mean, also, do they not put a template over your arm and then they trace it so you'd have seen it?
I don't know. I've never had a tattoo before.
I haven't either, but I've seen TV. And also, how do you, like, drawing a backwards Z is difficult. I tried to do it when I was writing my notes, like while we were watching it in the family room.
Yeah, you got to really think about it, don't you?
And I was like, this is too hard. I'd rather just write the words backwards.
I can
Z.
do it now, though. I've done it about 5 times. I'll just do it.
And then...
just an S. It's a pointy S.
Okay. Show off.
What's a pointy S?
Show off.
All right.
And Yasmin suggests to Stu that he should go back with Eliza for a few weeks, get her settled in Germany. What that means, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she is worried that, she admits she's worried that without Eliza there, she and Stu
have no reason to stay together.
Yes.
Which I thought was too much.
It was a bit too much, but also...
Because Eliza's fairly new on the scene.
Yeah, but also, I mean, Stu just kind of came in because he didn't have anywhere to live.
Yeah.
And she had just got rid of, what's his name?
Jeff.
Yes. Got rid of, he died, whatever.
He fell off the roof.
Yeah. And so Stu says, we'll have a think about that while I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I would like to point out that Eliza, once again, is the only adult in that relationship.
Yeah.
Because she wrote a note to Stu thanking him for stuff, and she signed her name with a backwards Z.
A pointy S.
appointee, yes.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, she's the only one being thoughtful and mature and,
Yeah.
trying to make them feel better.
Good old Elisa. Elisa. That's it. It's close.
All right. And then the last group of people, Leanne, Simon, and Rowan. So Leanne has landed a big contract for an event, and she tells Nick that it's thanks to the Institute's methods that she's been able to do this. Simon is also keen on this business side of things. He's decided that he should be in business, and he pitches to Leanne and Carla, his two mums, essentially.
Yeah.
Carla was his stepmom for quite a while. That he wants them to invest in his company.
Yeah.
And they're like, flesh it out a bit more, explain how you're going to do it, because there's already food delivery apps.
Sure.
Why are you going to be different? And so he's going to go away and do this. So Leanne says to Nick one day, okay, I'm headed into the office. I have a few Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, for work? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
How do they run the business
Like
together?
For work? Something, a part of the business that I'm involved with, but I have no knowledge of?
Also multiple meetings? Like,
Yeah, well, exactly.
yeah.
Zoom meetings.
Anyways, it turns out they're with Rowan, of course. So she tells Rowan about her story about landing the contract, and she's using all of the terminology and jargon that go with the with the
Reality
Institute
coding.
stuff. Yes. And she's sort of reflecting back the language that he uses for what she did and how it got her there. And he's giving her praise for all of this. She then turns out she has sent him Simon's fleshed out business proposal. And she uses that same jargon and terminology to explain why she thinks this is a good thing. Simon's doing the right thing. It's going to allow her. And she's using all the same jargon. And Rowan says, I think it's a bad investment for you. I don't think it's too risky. You shouldn't do it.
Right.
And so he's basically picking and choosing when the jargon works. But he then gets her to admit, forces her to admit, twists her words until she says the words that probably if it had been Oliver who would have asked, she would have given it to him. But because it's Simon, who's not her blood relation, she isn't doing it.
Harsh.
Harsh is right. So here, do we think this is true? I don't think she actually feels that way.
No, I don't think so either.
I think she's been sort of word trapped into saying those words.
Yeah, no, listen, Rowan's a bad one.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a good guy.
But meaning I think Leanne is absolutely 1,000% Simon's mom. In terms of
for sure.
how much she stands
behind
him.
I don't think that she differentiates between her dead baby son and toddler son and Simon.
Yeah.
I think that no.
So Rowan's just looking for the money.
I think if anything, the fact that Oliver is dead makes her appreciate Simon even more.
Right.
Probably closer as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I think that it's going to, first of all, I just have to clarify. I need to state this now.
Uh-oh.
I'm not interested in a Rowan Leanne romantic storyline.
No, I can't handle another Nick and Leanne breaking up, Nick and Leanne getting back together.
I like with the two of them when they have restaurant issues to suffer from. That's more exciting for me. If it's just romantic things, I don't care about Nick's happiness. Leanne's happiness,
He can just go for a jog.
I just want the bistro to do well. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel that there will be a romance because
they definitely
they cast a good looking.
His hair is good looking.
I don't know. What if he ends up going out with Toya despite her suspicions?
I can see that because I can see the opposites attract.
Plus, it would drive Leanne crazy, which Toya would
it's like you and me.
Such opposites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what people say about us.
You like that one kind of beer, I like the other kind of beer.
That's right. That are both the same color.
Lovers in a dangerous time.
Yeah. All right. So at the end, we've been doing favorite moments, and last week I added lovely moments.
Yes.
I didn't really have the favorite moments for me have generally been ones that are a bit comedic.
Yeah.
Small comedic moments.
I did have a favorite moment this week.
Oh, good, because I didn't find one.
And I thought I should write it down, and I didn't.
Did you remember it now?
No.
Oh.
it was really good too. It was like a one-off to the camera, and I was like, oh, not to the camera, but like to the past camera, and I was like, oh, damn it, that's a funny one. I should note that down. So let that be a lesson to everyone who's listening and or watching.
You
Write notes.
You could have used my notepad. It was sitting right there.
I know, but it was so far away.
But my lovely moment is going to be, I loved Dee Dee's support of Alya.
Oh,
That Dee Dee recognized that Alya had been treated unfairly for a while. Adam has been personally and professionally unfair to Alya recently. And I like the fact that even though it was going to be to her detriment, she supported Alya and was like, you do need to go. This is going to be a good thing for you.
I'm not. No,
that wasn't.
No, it's not a lovely moment.
Okay.
No, I feel like I don't feel there's enough depth to Dee Dee yet. I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't sympathize with her yet.
I agree.
And there's just not a lot of depth to her character yet. There might be eventually.
Now, she and Joel are circling around each other again.
Yeah.
Joel is now getting access to his 1-year-old child, Maeve, from Emily.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happening.
And so they were chatting about his concerns because he knows nothing about babies. Yeah. And of course, Dee Dee has Glory living at the house with her, but we haven't seen Glory in a while.
Glory in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's probably with Emily Bishop.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
Pretty good. That was a pretty good recap. Yeah. Thank you for watching and or listening to North of Weatherfield, the Canadian Coronation Street podcast. Remember, you can subscribe at weatherfield.ca. And if you do subscribe there, you'll get an email notification of each new episode, and you'll also be able to add to the comments in each episode. And there's a good little community of people there. I went through and actually read them, liked them, and commented last week. I did. Yeah.
Look at you.
Pretty good.
Wait, how much does it cost to subscribe?
It's free, Shannon.
Oh.
Yeah. But I do feel a little bit intimidated because there's some heavy hitters down there.
There's a lot of people that know stuff.
They know stuff, and I feel like an idiot. It's like, do I even watch this show? When I see some of the comments. But listen, don't let that stop you. I'll take the hit for you. If you want to comment, don't be scared.
We've literally asked people to explain to us about Gary getting beat up with a baseball bat by Rowan.
It seems like a major storyline. Cricket bat. We don't know why.
Well, so then don't tell off the heavy hitters.
I'm not telling them off. I'm just telling them that I feel intimidated by their powerful knowledge of the cobbles.
Let's play the theme song.
It's so good, that theme song. See? People love it. Listen, look at that whole room is erupted.
Yeah.
That's craziness. Thanks again so much for watching and or listening. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.